Hey guys, a lot of times you hear me interviewing lots of amazing guests, but today you get to hear me being interviewed by someone else. Check it out.
I think just go with your story, introduce yourself to
Okay.
everybody, kind of go through it because I think now, people know your background story. It'll be great to hear.
Okay. Well, as you know, I have now created a company where we're now in actually 20 states now. And I was like, wait a minute, what am I doing differently than I was doing before when I loved what I was doing? And I was thinking, I started taking back jobs that I can't stand doing instead of delegating them out. And so I just decided, okay, let me just really try to teach people how to do this. And so in my book, I talk about $10 activities, $100 activities, $1,000 activities, and $10,000 activities. And so the first thing that you have to do to remove off your plate is to get rid of $10 an hour items. And when I say $10 an hour items, a lot of people are like, well, you can't even hire anyone for $10 an hour. So that really is not possible. Well, the truth is, we have a huge team of about 10 people in the Philippines that we have. We have another virtual team from other areas as well. But we have a team of people where they make anywhere from $4 to $5 an hour. And I currently have 2 executive assistants, and then I have 1 house manager. And so what you want to get to the place is you want to kind of do an audit on your calendar and say, okay, what am I doing that are $10 an hour activities? What am I doing that are $100 an hour activities? I mean, I have some friends that I know, obviously I'm in real estate and I have a lot of friends that rehab a lot of homes or they're home builders. And one of the guys that I know, I was talking to him on the phone and I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going to Lowe's. We ran out of this or that, and I'm going to Lowe's to go pick this up and pick that up. And I literally looked at him and I'm like, are you kidding me? That is a $10 an hour task. And you're wasting your time driving to Lowe's, driving to Home Depot to go get these kind of things. That is something you have to delegate out. And he's like, I know, you're right. And finally I said, can you promise me that that's where you have to start, where you go, I'm never, ever doing these $10 an hour activities ever again. And the biggest thing is that when you start freeing up your time, you can actually start doing bigger items and you can start spending your time reading books and growing and taking yourself to the next level. And when you're freeing up your time because you're delegating so much stuff out, I'm not saying to take that time and just sit on the beach and do nothing, which that's good too, because you need that kind of downtime as well. But I also think you can take that time and put it into $1,000 or $10,000 an hour items to take yourself to the next level. And what happens with delegating is 2 things. Number 1 is you think just because you don't like doing it, that somebody else doesn't want to do that. And that's the farthest thing from the truth. God's made us all so different. And what I think is a living nightmare is somebody else is like, I love doing this. So that's really, really important for you to remember. Hold on, I'm going to give you one story that I absolutely love. So I went to the Global Leadership Summit probably about 10 years ago. And it was Colin Powell, and he was having a talk, and he was being interviewed by Bill Hybels. And he says, I'll never forget it. I was with Ronald Reagan. And one time I came to him and I was like, Ronald, this is going on and this is going on. And I was just like in panic mode. And Ronald Reagan looked out on the trees and he's like, aren't the bluebirds so pretty today? And he goes, that's all he said. And he said, he looked at himself and was like, he just basically what Ronald was saying is like, I hired you for this problem. I don't care how you fix it, but I'm going to focus on the bluebirds, And so I tell my staff that story all the time. But what I do say to them is, I want you to fix the problem and I want you to be empowered to do that. If for some reason you feel like you need to come to me to figure something out, come to me with 3 solutions. Coming to me that says, this is going wrong and that's not working and this is not working, that's not a good answer. You come to me and say, here's what our problem is. And here's the 3 things that I think that we can do. And then I say, okay, great. Thanks for telling me these 3 items. Which one do you think is the best option? And most of the time we go with the one option they thought was the best. If I didn't think it was the best, I'd say, well, what about this? And kind of go back and forth. But again, you want to get to a place where you're outsourcing critical thinking to someone else. You want to be able to constantly put that back on the people that you have, because if they're constantly coming to you once you do hire them and they're constantly coming to you, then you can get exhausted from constantly making all of those decisions. And that's, can really drain you. And then I really talk in the book about how to really hire the right people and which things, specifically to be able, I put checklists in there of how to automate and all of that. So I think that you will really get a lot out of it. I feel like it's one of my gifts. Like, I think God gives every person one gift that they're really good at. Like, they don't really have to try at it. And delegation's mine. And so I finally decided, everyone asks me all the time, all these different questions. So I decided to kind of say, okay, I'm going to finally take my brain and think about exactly how I do it. And I'm going to dump it into this book and be able to. And when you pre-order the book, you also get a few other webinars that I put together of kind of explaining some videos as well of exactly what you can do to be able to delegate everything but sex.